go. Yeah, you already know. Dun, 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 dun.
Shalom, shalom, family. All praises to the highest, Yahuwah. We are back. Family, it's so good to see y'all. We are here together once again to esteem the name of Yahuwah and reveal this biblical truth. Before we jump into this, fam, can I get an all esteem to the highest? Like, can I get a all esteem to the highest? Can I just... all esteem to the highest, Yahuwah, Yahusha. So, fam, we gonna jump into this. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to the moderators, of course. I see Yummy in the building. I see Lele here. I see, let's see, hold up. Let me make sure I'm not missing my mods. Lele, Yummy, Yaudi Blue is in the building. Shalom, shalom to you, beloved sister. Good to see you. I think that's it for the moderators, if I'm not missing anybody. Shout out to the general chat. Jane is here. Shalom to you. Zubaida. Oh, actually, before we jump into this, fam, Zubaida asked me to ask you guys to keep her in prayer. So this is what she said. She's dealing with some internal emotional issues, and she's just at home taking care of her family, serving Yahuwah. The enemy has been attacking her in the mind and wants to scare her. All right. So if you guys see her in the chat, you know, show her some love, encourage her, keep her in Palah before the throne of the Most High. You feel what I'm saying? This is what we are called to do as the children of the Most High, is to uplift a brother or a sister in Yahuwah Yahusha. All praises to the Most High. Let's do that for her. Sister, we are going to keep you in Palah, and I'll definitely close out with prayer, okay? Love you very, very much, and we're all here for you, okay? You're not alone in this, all right? Okay, fam. So this is actually interesting, you know what I'm saying, to bring out right now. You know, considering it's so-called Black History Month, I'm just all about getting our people to wake up, to understand these Abari, you know what I'm saying, or what the Gentiles call Hebrew roots. You feel me? Not the roots of, you know what I'm saying, just the Torah observance and all of that, but even getting more familiar with our forefathers, what their actual names were. You know, you think about Babylonian captivity, you think about, you know, you think about the name change, right? The name changes that took place, you know, when the Yahudim went into Babylonian captivity, and how Nebuchadnezzar, he changed their names to Babylonian names, right? You know, I mean, I was just talking to a sister the other day, and we were just talking about how it's crazy how when you think about those 3 Yahudi boys that were thrown into the fiery furnace, everybody calls them by their slave names. You feel me? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? But we don't call them by their actual names before they were Babylonianized. You feel me? I call them by their true names. Okay? So Misha'al is who Meshach was. And his name means who or what is like Aluah. You feel me? That's fire. That's all praises to the highest. You feel me? If I have a son, me and my woman, we are in agreement. That's going to be the name. You feel me? All esteem to the highest. That one. Facts. Then you have Meshach. All right? Or no, Meshach would be Misha'al. Then you have Abednego. Okay? And that would be Azariyahu. Azariyahu, which means Yahuwah has helped. Okay, so you've got Misha'al, you've got Azariyahu, and then last but not least, you have the name Kananyahu. okay, which is favored of Yahuwah. Okay, so that's why the names are important, bro. I keep telling people wonder why I go so hard for the name Yahuwah, Yahusha. I keep making songs about Yahuwah, Yahusha. In the Abari tongue, it's so powerful, family. And I think that's one of the things I'm realizing the more I, look at the language. I've been studying Abari for probably like taking it more seriously to really, really actually learn it, because I've been in this truth since 2019, but I didn't really actually dig into it until like recently, because I was seeing so many like doctrines being thrown around in this awakening, and I was like, bro, the only way I'm really going to be able to break all these things down, see through the lies, is to learn the tongue. You feel me? And then it's like embracing who I am as Yasharal and all of that. I'm like, okay, so they hid our language. Damn it, I'm going to learn it. You feel me? So all praises to the highest. Yada Yahuwah. It's by the Ruach HaKadosh that I've been able to learn it. So it's not nothing of my own. It's just the Father has put some things in front of me and help me understand the language and be able to break down the modern Hebrew to get the true Abari words. That's what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, fam, we're going to jump into this. I'm really excited about this one. Okay? So the 12 sons of Jacob. Now we know that Jacob's name was changed to Yasharal. Yashar, okay? Yashar means upright, and then all is short for Aluah. That's why we don't call him Elohim. That's why we don't call him God. That's why we don't call him Lord. But, obviously Aluah means mighty one, singular. So whenever you say Yasharal or all at the end of the name, it's in reference to the Most High. That's why, like I said, Misha'al, his name would be who or what is like Aluah. So Yasharal. So we're going to go through his 12 sons, and we're going to look at their names, and we are going to look at what led to them having these names. And then, of course, we're going to connect this back to Yahusha, because all these names, believe it or not, connect back to the king. All praises. So let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Please hit the like button. Please, 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 please hit the like button, fam. Appreciate y'all. All right. So here we go. Now, it's important you understand the women involved who brought forth these sons of Jacob. All right. The first person I'm going to introduce you to is La'ah, or in the English, they call her Leah. Okay. So this is Leah. She is the oldest daughter of Laban. Laban was the brother of Rebecca. Okay. And Rebecca is Jacob's mother. Okay? Jacob and Esau's mother. So that would be his uncle, Jacob and Esau. So this is La. She's the oldest daughter of Laban and the older sister of Rachel, or who we call Rachel. Okay? And she was given to Jacob as his first wife, though he did not love her. She bore to him 6 sons. Now, I'm going to be honest, bro. La'ah is a very, very sweet woman. Very, very beautiful. Very, very sweet. Had a really, really good heart. But unfortunately, Jacob did not really love her. And he treated her very terribly. You feel what I'm saying? He wanted her younger sister, who is Rachel, or Rachel. And, according to kind of the way the Hebrews do things, the Abarim or the Israelites and stuff like that do things, is that usually what happens is if a man wants to take someone's daughter for a wife, usually how it works according to the way our people did things is you're going to get the oldest daughter instead of the youngest one. But Jacob was attracted to the younger one. And so you're going to kind of see her experiences. And as I said, it's important to understand this because her sons, the children that she bore, and then the other children, they all tie, especially the ones that she bore, they all tie to what she was experiencing at the time. So it's actually really, really profound. All right. Now, let's keep going. So, as I said, she was not really loved very much by Jacob. But we're going to just read a little bit more about her story so we can understand what was going on at that time, okay? But she bore to him 6 sons, and we're going to get to those sons and all of that in a second. Now, this is Rachel. This is the youngest daughter of Laban and the younger sister of Laah, who Jacob truly loved. And she birthed two of Jacob's sons. Okay? So this is Laban, his other daughter. We just looked at Laah. That's his oldest or eldest daughter. And then this is his youngest daughter, who is going to be Rachel. And this is who Jacob really truly wanted when he was, doing his he was like more like an indentured servant for his uncle Laban, and he wanted Rachel or Rachel. Now, this is Bilhah, okay, and she was one of the servants, the female servants of Rachel, okay, and she bore two of Jacob's sons. So we have multiple women here. Now, the thing is, I need to make something clear. I know some of y'all might come for me in the comments section, but the way this was originally supposed to go, the only woman Jacob actually truly wanted was Rachel. He didn't want all these women. If I'm being honest with you, he wasn't pursuing them. He wasn't really, even putting that in their minds or anything like that. He kept on bargaining to Laban, I want Rachel. Okay? That's who he had his eyes on. That's, He had the hots for her. You feel me? So when people use polygamy and stuff like that, listen, I'm not going to say that it's against Yahuwah or anything like that. But if you're going to use Jacob to say, oh, we're supposed to have multiple wives and all of that, just consider the fact that that wasn't his intention. He was literally working under Laban to get Rachel. That's all he wanted. That's the only one he wanted. All right. But obviously things ain't work out like that. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. So this is Rachel's handmaid, and she bore two of Jacob's sons. Then last is Zilpah, and Zilpah was Laah's handmaiden, and she also bore two sons to Yaakov. Okay, so before we continue, I'm gonna just jump over here to the comments section because I know I dropped a lot on y'all, and I just want to make sure y'all are still with me here. All right, so I just want to make sure we good. Latanya from Facebook is in the building. Shalom to you, sister. Good to see you. Yeah, we are doing a simultaneous stream because I feel like our people on Facebook, need to know this stuff too and understand this. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to important things, like especially what we're going to be doing throughout this pagan month of February, is getting our people to know these truths that make things clear. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. So all praises to the highest. Donald J. Trump is the anti-Messiah. Yeah. Honestly, I do believe that 100%, but we got to stay on topic. Okay. DW Page is in the building. Oh, snaps. What's up? All praises to the Most High. Good to see you, fam. Latanya, Shalom, Yexer family. I love y'all. All praises to the Most High in the mighty name of his son, Yahusha HaMashiach. Thank you. All praises to the Most High, Yahusha HaMashiach. Yada Yahuwah. Charles in the building. What's up, Ak? Good to see you. Debar Yahuwah is in the building. Shalom, sis. His creation. This really made me sad for our foremother. Yeah, unfortunately, but see, that's the beauty of Yahuwah. He saw what she was going through, and we gonna get into all of that, okay? But he saw her grief, and the Most High, he blessed that black woman abundantly, okay? And that's why I think there's a lesson for women in this story. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Let me just come back on the screen real quick. There is an important lesson for women in this story, especially Israelite women. Okay, I know that there is a spirit of competitiveness, cattiness. You know what I'm saying? That is not something the Most High likes. Okay, just like I can't have a spirit of jealousy or, evil intentions toward a brother, Israelite Ak, you know what I'm saying? Just like a woman should not look at another black woman, another Israelite woman in jealousy or, want to take what she got or want to plot against her. I, as an Israelite man, cannot feel that way against a woman, an Israelite woman, nor towards an Israelite brother. You feel what I'm saying? Yahuwah wants us to, be able to trust each other, love each other, respect each other. And so that's why this lesson, I think, is good for women to understand as well. We're going to get into a little bit of that. So, for the daughters of Zion. So for the daughters of Zion, this is a very, very important lesson, more so for you than the men. But I think there's something men can get from it as well. All right. So let's keep going. Just wanted to put that out there real quick. Okay, all praises. So we went through La'ah, all right? We went through Zalfa. We just looked at Zalfa. We looked at Rakal, and then we looked at Balha, okay? All of these women were all instrumental in bringing forth the 12 sons of Jacob, all right? Let's keep going. All right, so let's read about it. This is Barashith, or Genesis 29, 16 through 32. Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was La'ah, and the name of the younger, Rakal. And the eyes of La'ah were weak, but Rakal was beautiful in appearance. Okay, obviously if she was younger, right? So she had, you know what I'm saying, that cute baby, you know, baby girl kind of face, which I guess Jacob was, you know, feeling, obviously, which makes sense. Okay. And exceedingly fair in countenance. And Jacob loved Rakal and said, I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter, Rakal. Okay. So this is Jacob going to his uncle and saying, okay, you know what? I'll serve you for 7 years. We gonna make an agreement, all right? I serve you for 7 years. You allow me to take your youngest daughter, Rakal, for a wife, all right? That was the agreement. 19. And Laban said to him, it is better that I should give her to you than I should give her to another man. Dwell with me. And Jacob served for Rakal 7 years, and they were before him as a few days by reason of his loving her. And Yaakov or Jacob said to Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled that I might go into her. All right, so Jacob worked hard for his uncle. You feel what I'm saying? He put that work in. He, you know what I'm saying, served faithfully to Laban. So he was like, all right, Unc, so look, you know what I'm saying? I done did that work. You know what I'm saying? I done paid my dues. What's up with Rakal? You know what I'm saying? I done did the 7 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for her now. I done fulfilled my end of the bargain. What's good? You know what I'm saying? He you know what I'm saying? I'm just imagining Jacob in my mind, like just kind of rubbing his hands like, yeah, so what's good with Rakal though? You know what I'm saying? I done did my thing. Well, what's good with Rakal? You know what I'm saying? You know how we be talking to our family members and stuff like that. So let's keep going. All right. 22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a marriage feast. And it was even, or Arab, okay, sunset. And he took his daughter La'ah and brought her into Jacob, and Jacob went in unto her. And Laban gave to his daughter La'ah Zalfa, his handmaid, as a handmaid for her. And it was morning, and behold, it was La'ah. And Jacob said to Laban, what is this you have done to me? Did I not serve you for Rakal, and wherefore you have deceived me? So in this scenario, let me make sure I'm explaining this clearly here. Okay? So Yaakov, all right, he sat with Laban and said, I want Rakal. I'll serve you 7 years for her, your youngest daughter. And they had a marriage feast and everything. So apparently it was even, or evening. So it was dark outside at that. Well, actually, obviously it would be dark or whatever, right? Or if it was Arab, then that means that it would be leading into the darkness, but it was dark in the house at least. So he brought him into a room, and the woman he thought was in the bed waiting on him was La'ah. And it wasn't Rakal, but he went in onto her. Okay, so there was a little trickery going on. He said he wanted Rakal, but it was La'ah that was in the bed. You feel what I'm saying? So the son comes up and everything, and he looks and he's all like, yo, what is this? This is not who I served you for. I wanted Rakal, but he had already laid with La'ah. You feel what I'm saying? So there was some tomfoolery going on over here, y'all. Okay? there was some tomfoolery going on amongst the descendants of Shem. Okay, because we didn't have no Israelites yet. We talking about Abarim. We talking about Hebrews. We talking about descendants of Shem, Abarim, descendants of Abar, Hebrews. Okay, but there was some trickery going on here. Okay, so he low-key set Jacob up. All right, I know this is crazy, like just talking about this, but I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? That was our people, though. You feel me? It's just how it went down. All right, so let's keep going. This is just, I know it's crazy, but it gets crazier. All right, so he's like, bro, you done conned me. You done set me up. You ain't fulfilled your end of the bargain. You said I could serve you and have your younger daughter, and then you give me La'ah. Okay, so what happens? Let's keep going. And Laban answered, it is not done thus in our country to give the younger before the elder. So fulfill then her sevens, and I will give you to her also in return for your labor, which you labor with me, yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so. He wanted her that bad. He was like, you know what? I need her. I have to have her. You feel what I'm saying? So that boy Jacob did another 7 years. You feel what I'm saying? Because he loved her that much. He was that attracted to her. So, and Laban gave him his daughter Rachel for a wife after the 7. And Laban gave to his daughter his handmaid Bilhah for a handmaid to her. And he went unto Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than La'ah, and he served him 7 more years. Okay, so he had laid with La'ah. When he realized that La'ah was not Rachel, he literally just discarded her, you know what I'm saying, and then just went after Rachel. You know what I'm saying? He neglected her. He wanted nothing to do with her, which is just so jacked up, because it's like he laid with her, right? And you know, I could only imagine how that could feel, as, you know what I'm saying, as like for a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like when a man, you know, he seems to be interested, right? And then, you know, he finally gets what he wants. And then, you know what I'm saying, you're just like, oh, you know what I'm saying, he doesn't really love me. You know what I'm saying? That's probably how she felt as a woman. She felt invalidated. She felt insecure. She felt like she wasn't good enough. You know, when I read these scriptures, Yahuwah has helped me be able to kind of understand, when I read the text, to understand the mindset of the person that is being talked about in the specific passage. And again, when I read this story, I just look at the mercy of the Most High, how he understands, you know what I'm saying, how, you know, people feel internally, you know what I'm saying? But when we trust in the Father, right, when we trust in him, that's when he has mercy and he brings forth blessings. Is that faith, that amunah. It's the most important thing. That's why the Bible, one of the most important things, because, you know, you have the works of the Torah, but faith, amunah, and Yahusha. So that's why so many times Yahusha rebuked his people, because they had none. He said, he told the centurion, it was a whole Roman, a whole centurion, a Gentile. He told him, he's like, I've never seen such faith in all of Yasharal. That German, or not the Salaki, not the German, the Roman, he literally had more faith than most of Yahusha's own people, which is why every time when you hear about his contact with the Gentiles, he would heal them just off the merit of faith that they had. You feel what I'm saying? So amunah is important, period. You know what I'm saying? It's an important thing. And the Most High rewards those who hold to that amunah in him, fully trust in him. You feel what I'm saying? And that's one of the lessons you can learn from this story, is trusting in the Most High, no matter what it looks like. He can make the impossible possible, because there's nothing too hard for Ha'ayun, the Most High. There's nothing too hard for the highest. You feel me? All praises to the Most High. All right? So we're going to keep going. All right. So he served his uncle 7 more years. And he finally, you know what I'm saying, was able to take Rachel for a wife. All right, let's keep going. So what we just read is that Jacob served his uncle Laban, his mother Rebekah's brother, and desired to marry his younger daughter Rachel. But instead he was given Laban's older daughter Leah by deceptive means, even though it was out of the ordinary for the youngest to be given to a man first. Jacob served Laban another 7 years to get Rachel. Okay? Continuing on. Unfortunately, Jacob did not love Leah, and much of the birth of her sons were very much grievous for her as a woman. And the names she gives to her sons speaks to the level of grief she dealt with, especially Benjamin. Her, you know what I'm saying, the little, you know what I'm saying, the little baby boy. You know what I'm saying? But it's not even Leah that brought forth Benjamin. Recall when she brings forth Benjamin or Benjamin, there's something we're gonna get to in a minute that speaks to some of the grief and the pain, because these women experience some sort of grief and pain, and not just the childbearing experience, but emotionally. Okay, and we're gonna get to that a little bit more as we keep going. All right. So the name she gives to her son speaks to the level of grief she dealt with, because Jacob did not love her, but Yahuwah blessed her. Right? So if you feel, you know what I'm saying, let's say you're married, let's say you're in a relationship, let's say that you have a friendship, whatever it might be, whatever interaction you have with people, you know, maybe not so much in this truth as much as you are. Sometimes you may feel unloved. You know what I'm saying? I sent my mom something in the text message and she didn't even respond about the scriptures or whatever. You know, sometimes you feel unloved, but in this moment, Yahuwah proved to her she was not unloved. Maybe the love that she thought she was going to get from Jacob, Yahuwah gave to her. And we're going to read about that. Let's keep going. Bereshit, Genesis 29, 31 through 32. And when Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb. Wait a minute. So we read the Septuagint here. We got the most accurate version of the text. Jacob not only didn't love Leah, he hated her. He didn't want her around. You feel what I'm saying? He had a lot of disdain for this woman. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, because again, his eye was only on Rachel. All right, let's keep going. So when Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Okay, so Leah, who was not wanted by Jacob, not loved by Jacob, Yahuwah opened her womb, and the woman that Jacob actually wanted, Yahuwah made her barren. Now that's interesting here, because usually, now it doesn't talk about how old they are, at least not in this text from what I've seen. I'm sure that's somewhere in scripture if I don't know about it, but usually, you know, that's a little strange, because the younger would not be the one that would be barren in most cases if a girl were to have or a woman were to have a child. You know what I'm saying? Usually the older would deal with that. But I mean, obviously it depends on the circumstances and the age and all of that. But this younger girl who'd never known a man, she was barren, but the oldest wasn't. That's interesting. Let's keep going. 32. And Leah conceived and bore a son to Jacob, and she called his name Ra'uban. Okay? That's how his name is pronounced. Who you call Reuben is Ra'uban. Ra'uban. Okay? Saying, because Yahuwah has looked on my humiliation. Okay? She was hurt. But because Yahuwah has looked upon her humiliation, she called him Ra'uban. And we're going to break down his name in a minute. And has given me a son. Now then will my husband love me. So she was hoping Jacob would choose her. She was hoping that Jacob would choose her when she brings forth this son. Okay? And this is Ra'uban. And Ra'uban means see a son. The root word is Ra'ah, which means see. And then Ban is son. Ra'uban. See or behold, Hana, a son. Okay? So this was the first son of Jacob that would be born. And again, you find that reference in Bereshit or Genesis 29:32. Because Yahuwah has looked upon my affliction, surely now my husband will love me. Okay, so behold the son, right? Let's keep going. Barshi, Genesis 29:33, and she conceived again, and she bore a second son to Yaqub, and she said, because Yahuwah has heard that I am hated, okay, he has given to me this one also, and she called his name Shama'un, okay, the root word Shama, all right, when you think about like Deuteronomy 6:4, Shama Yasharal, Yahuwah Alua Hinu, Yahuwah Akkad, Yahuwah your Alua is one. Shama, that means hear or listen, okay? So Shama'un means hearing. Yahuwah heard that she was hated. Shama, that's the root word of the name Shama'un, which means hearing. And then Barashib, Genesis 29:33, because Yahuwah has heard, Shama, that I was hated, he was therefore given to me this son also, okay? So let me just jump over here to the comment section. I want to see what y'all saying before we continue. You know what I'm saying? All praises to the Most High. Please hit the like button if you can. Batiyah Bayaya Sharal's in the building. What's up, sis? All praises. Good to see you. Bianca said, dang, I'm late. Well, hey, you here, sis? All praises to the highest. We only did 2 boys so far. So we only been on here 43 minutes. Dang, 43 minutes. That's crazy. It feel like it's been way shorter than that. Like, that's crazy. I feel like I've only been on here like 20 minutes. That's crazy. Let's see. At the same time, she knew he wanted her sister, right? And that's what I mean when I say that. I think just as a woman, you feel what I'm saying? She just felt invalidated. You know, she felt like she wasn't, you know, good enough. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what she would do, he would never see her as his wife because his eye was only fixed on her sister, which is crazy. Vanessa Yah says, do you know that was payback for him and his mother tricking Isaac and Esau? That's actually a very, very interesting perspective. I've actually never thought of it that way, but that's actually very, very plausible. It is a very, very good observation. But what I will say, because you know, sometimes when people ask me about Jacob and Esau and they say, I feel a little uneasy about Jacob because there was some trickery, you know, involved, which I could say that there was. But on Esau's part, though, I'll say this. Jacob made it very clear to him that if I give you this bowl of soup, you will sell me your birthright. Okay? He made that very clear. There was no trickery involved when he sat down with his brother and told him that. You feel what I'm saying? Now, maybe Jacob set him up because he was cooking stew at the right time. He was cooking that red pottage at the right time. So if Esau been out in the field all day and he walk into the house and he see his brother over there cooking it up, you know what I'm saying? Cooking up that red sauce, you feel me? He was hungry. He was like, yo, hey, what's good? You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe Jacob was baiting him with the red soup. I'm just saying, possibly, right? But maybe not. Maybe he didn't know when Esau was coming back. He was just hungry, so he's about to make it for himself. So there's a lot of ways you can look at that. But he did make it clear that, you know, I'll give you this soup if you sell me your birthright. There was no trickery involved in that heat of the moment, right? Esau didn't even value it. And the birthright that he had and was promised to him because he was the oldest, it had no value to him. He didn't even care about it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't think twice. He didn't think about it. He was like, yeah, just give it to me. I'm going to die anyway. He didn't even, you know, like give it another thought. He gladly sold it for a bowl of soup. That's crazy. You feel what I'm saying? So on the side of Isaac and Rebecca and Jacob, there was some stuff going on, but then I also think about what if Yahuwah blinded him conveniently at that time so that this could take place. That's something I'm considering. What if Yahuwah blinded him at that appropriate time? Because remember, Isaac loved Esau more than he loved Jacob. That's what the scriptures say in the Torah. It says that he loved Esau more than Jacob, and Rebekah loved Jacob, which is why, honestly, I think he revealed it to her. He revealed it to her that Jacob was going to be the chosen one, the chosen child by which would come Yasharal. He revealed it to her, not Isaac. So you have to factor that in. You have to factor that in, family. You had to factor that in. And also, when you read Jasher, bro, like, I think it's Jasher or Jubilees. I'm not sure. It's one of those books. But when you read about Esau, bro, he literally didn't want to study the ways of Yahuwah. He didn't want to go to the house of Shem, what like Jacob did, and learn, the Torah and understand the ways of Yahuwah. He wanted nothing to do with that. He'd rather stay at the house. He had no zeal for the Most High at all. He didn't. But that was just the way his heart was. But Jacob, though, Jacob understood the importance of the birthright. Jacob trusted in the Most High and what would be promised through that birthright. He understood the value of that birthright. Esau didn't care about it. That's the difference. You always have to factor that in. You feel me? You always have to factor that in. All right, fam. So we're going to keep going. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to, put that out there real quick. All right, fam. Here we go. Okay. So we looked at Shama'un, which means hearing. The root word of his name is Shama, which means to hear or listen. And that reference is Barashit, Genesis 29:33, because Yahuwah has heard that I was hated. He has therefore given to me also the son. All right. All right. Barashit 29:34, and she conceived yet again and bore a son. And in him, the present time, my husband will be with me, for I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore, she called his name Louis. Okay. And that would be Levi, but it would actually in a bar, it would be pronounced Louis. Okay. And Louis means attach. Okay. Attach, to attach to something. Okay. So let's read again. She conceived again and bore a son and said, in this present time, my husband will be with me or be attached to me. For I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore, she called his name Louis. Okay. So you see here in this context, she wanted Jacob to attach to her because she done brought forth 3 sons. So there was always this hope in her heart that, someday he would see her as his wife. Okay. So in this context, she's saying that, in this present time, my husband will attach to me. She was hoping he would attach, which is what Louis means. All right. Because she has brought him 3 sons. And that's where the name Louis comes from. All right. So Louis is joined or attached. My husband will be joined with me, or my husband will be attached to me because I have brought forward a son. Barashit, Genesis 29:34. Be with me, attached to me, join with me. And Louis or Levi means joined or attached. Okay, let's keep going. Barashit, Genesis 29:35, and having conceived yet again, she bore a son and said, now yet again, this time I will praise Yahuwah. Or she said, I will give praise to Yahuwah. Okay, this is why I'm so happy to be from the tribe of Yahudah, bro. This was the one moment where she praised Yahuwah. So she said, Yada Yahuwah. Okay, and when you put those two together, you get Yahudah. Okay, Yahudah. Okay, so in having conceived yet again, she bore a son and said, now yet again this time will I give praise to Yahuwah. Therefore she called his name Yahudah and ceased bearing. And the name Yahudah means Yahuwah be praised. The root word is Yada. Yada means praise. Yada Yahuwah. That's why sometimes, all the time, most of us in this truth, we say Yada Yahuwah, praise Yahuwah. But the name itself is a combination of Yada Yahuwah, which is Yahudah. And we are the praisers. You feel me? That's why a lot of us do music and singing and, art. You know what I'm saying? You think about those Negro spirituals. You know what I'm saying? You think about when our people was, on the plantation singing them Negro spiritual songs. You think why Negroes got so much soul? Come on, y'all. Come on, family. Okay, we are the Yahudim. We are the so-called Black Jews. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so all praises to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And that's where Yahudah came in, because she started to develop hope in Yahuwah, praising Yahuwah, right? He then gave, Yahuwah done brought her forth, 4 sons now. So that was a moment of prayer. That was a moment of praise, Yada, to the Most High. You feel me? All right, let's keep going. All right, and this is Yahudah. Yahuwah be praised. Barashit 29:35, and having yet conceived yet again, she bore a son and said, now yet again this time will I pray, I will give praise to Yahuwah. Therefore she called his name Yahudah and ceased bearing. And this is Yahudah. Yahuwah be praised. All right, so now we're going to get on over here to Bala. All right, Barashit, Genesis 30, 1-6. And recall, having perceived that she bore Jacob no children, was jealous of her sister. This is what I'm saying, daughters of Ziyun, that cattiness, that jealousy, you know what I'm saying? Wanting to be in competition with your sister, to the Akim, the brothers out there being jealous, in competition with other Israelites. Hey, the Most High don't like that. Dead that, kill that spirit, okay? We need to be happy when Yahuwah is raising up our people to do righteousness. Don't be jealous of someone, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? If they doing the will of the Most High, you should be happy for them. Praise Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? Say Yada Yahuwah. All right? And said to Jacob, give me children, and if not, I shall die. And Jacob was angry with Rachel and said to her, am I in the place of a Leah who has deprived you of the fruit of the womb? So we have Jacob and Rachel. Jacob loved her. He thought she was beautiful. He wanted nothing to do with her sister, who was originally given to him by his uncle. He treated her really, really bad, and she brought forth 4 children. And Rachel didn't bring forth any children, the younger sister of Leah. And now he's angry with her because for some reason she ain't being able to have children. So now there's some tension in that household because obviously Jacob was expecting children. I mean, he knew that the promise would go through his seed. He knew that his seed would bring about the covenant children of Yahuwah. So it makes sense why he was angry. You feel what I'm saying? But this was what Yahuwah was doing as a punishment because of the way he was treating Leah. Sometimes you may not want a certain person, right? Let me speak to y'all in a real way real quick. See, sometimes, right, you be asking the Most High, Father, Yahuwah, Ha'ayun, the Most High, I need this, I want this, Father, I want this, Father, I want that, right? And you pray and you pray and you pray and you pray, right? And then one day, the Most High gives you what you asked him for. But see, sometimes we become so prideful, it's just not good enough. Oh yeah, the Most High gave me a wife, but she just ain't thick enough in the right places. Oh, I pray for the Most High to give me a husband, but he just ain't got that swag that I like. Or maybe I've been praying for a job, to move up, to do a little better in life. But you just got hooked up through, some job that you didn't even think you was going to do. But now the job's not good enough, right? You're struggling, you're going through it, but that job ain't good enough. That husband that the father gave you ain't good enough. Oh, that woman that Yahuwah done brought to you in truth is not good enough. Sometimes we have to thank the Father for what we have. Sometimes we might consider what he has provided as the bare minimum. And we have to stop looking at things like that. If it's from the Father, it is for you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We be so stiff-necked, sometimes we just tell, Father, I don't want this. This ain't good enough for me. And then you asking the Father, oh, where is my husband? Oh, where is my wife? Oh, where is my relief? And Yahuwah looking at you like, you done prayed, you done asked, I done provided, and you didn't want it. It wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you. So again, I indeed think that in these passages, family, there is some very, very important messages that we can all learn from our forefathers and foremothers in this particular context. Yes, indeed. Can't factor out the women. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to keep it going. There's still more. All right. So she's telling Jacob, like, Jacob's mad at her. She got jealous of her sister La'ah, recall, right? And Jacob is all like, yo, what's up? She's like, I need children. Where are my children? And now it's got to affect him as a man, right? It's affecting her as a woman because she's jealous, but she's also experiencing these issues with being barren. But then Jacob, so as a man, right? Think about it. It's just as almost emasculating as a man if you're with a woman and you're expecting to bring about this promised seed and she's blaming you like, well, maybe something going on with you, right? And so naturally, right, the man is going to lash out like, yo, it ain't me, it's you. And she's like, no, it ain't me, it's you, right? So everybody's just pointing the finger, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. But see, where they made a mistake is they weren't checking their hearts, right? They didn't realize that, especially Jacob, he didn't realize that the way in which he was acting towards La'ah is what brought about these things on him. And in essence, it was rubbing off on her. She didn't really do anything. You know what I'm saying? And then she got jealous once La'ah brought forth those 4 children. But because of what he was doing and who he was pursuing and the way he was going about doing it, how Yahuwah was affecting him was affecting who he truly desired. Right? So the Yahuwah blocked it. He stopped it because of this. He had to teach Jacob and Rachel a lesson while continuing to bless the woman that felt unloved and hated by her husband. How powerful is that, y'all? Praise the Most High. He is worthy. Yada Yahuwah. All right, fam, let's keep it going. All right, so, and Jacob was angry with Rachel and said to her, am I in the place of Elua, who has deprived you of the fruit of the womb? And Rachel said to Jacob, behold, my handmaid, Bala, go into her, and she shall bear upon my knees, and also shall have, I also shall have children by her. And she gave him Bala, her maid, for a wife to him, and Jacob went in unto her. So she's basically, this is almost kind of similar to like the Abraham, Sarah situation, you know, but it was a little bit more different though. I mean, obviously Sarah was much more advanced in age along with Abraham. And she's all like, oh, I'm too old and I've been barren all my life. I can't give you no child. Isaac's not going to come through me. Take Hagar. She's a young woman. You know what I'm saying? You just, Abraham, you just take her, You know what I'm saying? Have a child with her, and that's gonna be how the child's gonna, you know, come into the promise. And she brought forth Ishmael. But see, Yahuwah told Abraham, the child is gonna come through Sarah. Okay, so you see, even in that instance, there was a lack of faith on Sarah and Abraham's part. And it's okay, because we all human, you feel me? We all human, right? We all can learn from our forefathers' family. We can all learn from them. They all made mistakes at some point, right? The only one who was perfect was Yahusha, all right? But in that moment, she didn't feel like Yahuwah could bring forth a child through her, because she was advanced in age and she had been dealing with being barren all her life, right? And Abraham, he had Amunah in the Most High. But in that essence, even though Yahuwah revealed to him it was going to be through Sarah, the way she was feeling had an effect on him. So he took her advice instead of saying, wait, hey, hold on. Yahuwah told me this. We going to stick with what Yahuwah says. But he was all like, okay, fine. I'll just take Hagar, right? And then what happened? Tension began to grow in that household because he took Hagar. You feel what I'm saying? So this situation is kind of similar in some ways. You feel me? Not exactly, but there are definitely some parallels. Let's keep going. All right. Verse 5. And Bala, Rachal's maid, conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Alua has given judgment for me and hearkened to my voice. And she has given me a son. Therefore, she called his name Dan. Okay, Dan means judgment. Okay, so recall, she was almost counting it as if she gives Jacob her handmaid because she can't have children, she counted those as her own children. Essentially, she was almost using Bala almost like a surrogate in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, the child that she brings forth is going to be my child. You know what I'm saying? So she was saying, okay, well, Yahuwah has avenged me, right? There's judgment there, right? Alua has given judgment, a righteous judgment, and therefore Dan was born by Bala or Bilhah. All right, so Dan means judge, and this is Dan right here, or Dan, or Dan, however you want to say it. All right, Parashah Genesis 30:1-6, and Bala, Rachal's maid, conceived yet again and bore a second son to Jacob. And Rachel said, Alua has helped me, and I contended with my sister and prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. Okay? So Alua has helped her, okay? Azaral. And I contended with my sister and prevailed. So contended means to struggle or wrestle with. Okay, and that's what Naphtali means, to wrestle or struggle. All right, and this is Naphtali. All right, let's keep going. All right, this is Parashah Genesis 30:9-11. And Leah saw that she ceased from bearing, and she took Zalpha, her maid, and gave her to Jacob for a wife, and he went in unto her. Now, you got to understand that once Leah stopped giving birth to children, she still understood that Jacob had an intention to continue to bear these children, you know? And so she ended up giving Zalpha, who was her handmaid, right, to Jacob. And he also had children with her, okay? And gave her to Jacob for a wife, and he went on unto her, and Zalpha, the maid of Leah, conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, it is fortune, or it is good tidings. And she called his name God, or Gad, okay? And this is Gad right here, which can mean fortune, good tidings, or what you would say is luck. Now, I understand some people, you know, we obviously don't call Yahuwah God, right? Because we know that God is also the Babylonian deity of fortune, which is mentioned in Yashayahu or Isaiah 65:11. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest, I've always wondered why this woman named this child you know what I'm saying, God or Gad or whatever you want to call it, right? I'm so used to saying it that way when I'm like, you know, making fun of the name God. But anyway, but then I also understand that the word Gad does mean like good fortune or good tidings or something of that nature. So it's not essentially pagan in origin, but I do not think we should refer to the Most High as God or Lord or anything. I think we should refer to him by his name as well as his restored titles. You know what I'm saying? Like Alua or the Most High or, you know, whatever. Just none of the pagan stuff. All right, let's keep going. All right, Barashif, Genesis 30, verse 9 and 12 and 13. And La'ah saw that she ceased from bearing, and she took Zalpha her maid and gave her to Jacob for a wife, and he went in unto her. And Zalpha, the maid of La'ah, conceived yet again and bore Jacob a second son. And La'ah said, I am happy, for the women will pronounce me blessed. And she called his name Ashar or Asher. Okay, so this was the second child that Zalpha bore to Jacob. Okay, and that's Ashar or Asher, which means happy or happily. Okay, and that references Barashif, Genesis 30, verse 13. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done. All right, now we're going back to La'ah. All right, Barashif, Genesis 30, 14 through 18. And Ra'auban went into the day of barley and harvest. Okay, and found apples of mandrakes in the field. Okay, so it says the day of barley and harvest. Okay, so that was obviously, when I look at this passage, it almost makes me think that it was probably around, the springtime. You feel what I'm saying? Obviously, Yahuwah gave us the spring would be the beginning of the year, but considering that they were collecting barley and harvesting and stuff like that, it would have had to been around the time of spring, when these children were being born. So it gives us a little bit more context to, the time frame in which these children were born. But let's keep going. And found apples of mandrakes in the field and brought them to his mother La'ah. So little Ra'auban, okay, La'ah's first son, he was in the field and he was, getting some barley and harvest, and he found some apples of mandrakes in the field and he brought them to his mother. And Rachel said to La'ah, her sister, give me of your son's mandrakes. And La'ah said, is it not enough for you that you have taken my husband? Will you also take my son's mandrakes? And Rachel said, not so. Let him lie with you tonight for your son's mandrakes. So she's like, you've taken my husband, and now you want to take what my son went out to the field to go get. And Rachel's like, no, it's not like that. He can lie with me tonight, for your son's mandrakes, which I'm assuming are like some type of apple or fruit or crop or something of that nature. And Jacob came out in the field at even, and La'ah went forth to meet him and said, you shall come into me this day, for I have hired you for my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night, and Alua hearkened unto La'ah, and she conceived and bore Jacob's fifth son. And La'ah said, Alua has given me my reward, because I gave my maid to my husband. And she called his name Yashakar, which is reward. Okay, so Yashakar, okay, not Issachar, Yashakar. So you have two sheens in his name, so it'll be Yash and then Shakar, Yashakar. Okay, and his name means reward or wages. That's why she said, Yahuwah has given me my reward. Jacob finally decided to, consummate with her, and she had another son, and that would be Yashakar. Okay, all right. Barashif, Genesis 30, 19 through 20. And La'ah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. And La'ah said, Yahuwah has given me a good gift in this time. My husband will choose me or dwell with me, for I have borne him six sons. And she called his name Zabulun. Okay, Zabulun means dwelling. Okay, and this is Zabulun right here, dwelling or honor. Okay, and that's why she said, my husband will dwell with me, be with me, dwell with me, honor me as his wife. Okay, And for some reason, I did all this through PowerPoint, so it like removed the Abari text. But you know what I'm saying, I can show y'all, you know what I'm saying, after I get through the lesson. You know what I'm saying? I usually just have the slides here on StreamYard, but for some reason it removed the Abari text, you know what I'm saying, that I had for each of the names. So I'll just, you know, go through them towards the end of this lesson. All right, Barashi 30, 20 through 21. And after this, she bore a daughter, and she called her name Dinah. Okay, now this was Jacob's baby girl, his only daughter. A lot of people don't even know that Jacob actually had a little girl, and her name was Dinah. You know what I'm saying? The only girl that Jacob had. The rest of his children were all boys, but he did have one little girl that he had with Leah, and that's Dinah, okay, or Dinah, and her name means judgment also. Now, she actually is interesting. Her name is Dinah because something traumatic happened to her by the nation of Shechem. You know what I'm saying? One of the descendants of Shechem, you know what I'm saying, obviously violated her, and so Yahuwah brought judgment on them through Jacob's sons. They went over there and they slayed them boys, you know what I'm saying, because they had violated their little sister. But this is Jacob's only daughter, and that was Dinah or Dinah, and her name means judgment also. All right, Barashi, Genesis 30, 22 through 24. And Yahuwah remembered Rachel, and Yahuwah hearkened to her, and he opened her womb. And she conceived and bore Yaakov, or Jacob, a son. And Rachel said, Yahuwah has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Yahusaph, saying, let Yahuwah add to me another son. Okay, Joseph, or Yahusaph, means Yahuwah adds. Okay, Yahuwah adds. All right, Yahuwah will add or increase. Yahusaph is what that means. All right. Barashi, Genesis 35, 16 through 19. And Jacob removed from Bethel and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Gadar. And it came to pass when he drew nigh to Kabratha to enter into Aphrathah, Rachel travailed, and in her travail she was in hard labor. And it came to pass in her hard labor that the midwife said to her, be of good courage, for you shall also have this son. And it came to pass in her giving up the ghost, for she was dying, that she called his name the son of my affliction, or the son of my pain. Okay, so let me paint this picture for you here. Rachel just had one of her sons, okay, which was Yahusaph, okay, and she was literally dying because the labor pain was so bad. So she was in infinite pain, bringing forth Benjamin, or Benjamin. So his original name was son of my pain, or son of my affliction, because the whole time when she was being jealous of her sister and Jacob was trying to have children with her, and she wasn't really, you know, able to have children because she was barren, her sister was having all these beautiful children, and then the handmaids were also having children with Jacob, but she was not able to bear children until she was able to have, obviously, Yahusaph. And then she had one more child, and that was going to be Benjamin. But she literally was in so much pain from bringing forth this child, she ended up originally calling him son of my pain. All right, but let's keep reading, or son of my affliction. So let's keep reading. And it came to pass in her hard labor that the midwife said to her, be of good courage, for you shall also have this son. And it came to pass in her giving up the ghost, for she was dying, that she called his name the son of my affliction, or the son of my pain. But his father called his name Benjamin. So Rachel died, and she was buried in the way of the course of Aphrathah. And this is Beth-Lakam, or Bethlehem. And Benjamin means son of the right hand. So she was originally going to call him son of my affliction, or my pain. But because Jacob loved his son so much, he didn't want his son's name to be a reminder of the pain that the woman that he loved went through bringing forth this child, and everything and all her affliction throughout his experiences with her sister and also the handmaids. So Jacob, you know, didn't want to carry that burden of her affliction, which is why he changed his name to Benjamin, which means son of the right hand. Okay. So, I mean, it's bro, it's deep. It is really, really deep when you really look at it. You know what I'm saying? So when people tell me the names don't matter, I'm just like, what do you mean? How could you say that? You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, they kind of like hid the names from you and they changed the way they're pronounced and all of that with the, you know, the modern Hebrew with the unnecessary vowel points and the Nakud system, you know, with the Aramaic and all of that. They hide all of this, bro, because the Abari, bro, is powerful, y'all. And I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying, the modern Hebrew. I'm talking about the stuff that was inscribed in stone. I'm talking about what Yahuwah literally wrote the 10 Commandments in with his own finger. Okay, he wrote that in the Abari. All right, that was the language he preserved for his children. Matter of fact, it wasn't just us that spoke Abari, because the Canaanites also spoke a very similar dialect. It was the same writings, the same, you know, writing system, but they just spoke a different dialect than we did. Which would make sense because, I mean, our forefathers lived in the land of Canaan. So we're surrounded by Canaanites. I mean, Yahudah, he married a Canaanite woman, had a child with her and everything. So it would make sense. A whole story just in their names. Yeah. And that's what I'm learning. Like, the more I dig into the language, I've really got very, very, you know what I'm saying, astute in it. So all praises to the Most High. But the more you look at the scriptures, bro, in the original tongue, minus the vowel points and, you know, the modern Hebrew, bro, there's so many messages in it. There is so many deep messages in the names of the books themselves and the way in which they're lined up. They all tell a message. You feel me? Matter of fact, hold on. Before we continue, let me show y'all this. This is crazy. Hold on. I showed this on Facebook before. But I want to show you this about the first 6 books of the Bible. Let's look at that real quick. Hold on a minute. Let me go over here to... I want to break this down for you guys so you can understand why I stand on the language so much. Because some people think I'm super overzealous for Yahuwah, Yahusha, which is a good thing, right? But even the names, bro, I don't play about the names, bro. I do not. All right, I'm on Yahuwah, Yahusha all day long. I don't jump around from Yahushai. I don't jump around to Yahusha, Shasha. Okay, I don't jump around to, you know what I'm saying, any of these other Yeshua, none of these. I don't jump around, bro. I've never jumped around. You feel what I'm saying? You listen to my songs, bro. When I've learned the names was Yahuwah, Yahusha, I did a lot of deep digging to really confirm this, and I can confirm it. Even when you look at the scrolls and they mention Joshua, it's spelled Yod He Uashin Ayin. Yod He Uashin Ayin. Yahusha and Joshua had the same name, bro. So if I can confirm it in the Joshua scrolls, bro, that was Yahusha's name. It wasn't anything other than that. Even if you look at the Jewish version of the New Testament, which is in modern Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? It says Yahusha. Not Yahushawa or none of that other stuff. Yahweh Shishi and na. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just play it. All right. So let me show y'all this, man. This is actually pretty interesting. All right. Look at this. Hold on. Share my screen. Okay. So let's look at these books here. Okay. So actually, you know what? Hold on. I got something better for y'all. I actually have the Abari names of the books on my blog. Give me a sec. Let me pull it up for you. Because I did a teaching on the Abari names of the books. And I'm going to just show you the interesting message in this. So give me a second. Okay. All praises to the highest Yahuwah. So look at this. Let me show y'all this, bro. This is pretty crazy. All right. So let me full screen this. Okay. So let's look at this. This is Ha-Abari Sham Shah Shafarim. All right. So the Hebrew names of the books. Now we're going to just focus on these first 6. Okay. We're going to focus on these first 6 books. Okay. So the very first book, Barashith, means in the beginning. Okay. Very simple. The next book in the Torah is Exodus. All right. In the Abari, this would actually be Shamuth, which means names. Okay. Shin, Mam, Ua, Thou. Shamuth. The thou right here makes the TH sound. Okay. So it should be Shamuth. All right. So in the beginning, names. Then you have Uyakara. Uyakara means and he called. Kara means call. So in the beginning, names. And he called Uyakara. Then numbers, Bamadabar, which means in the wilderness. All right. Then you have Deuteronomy. And this is Dabarim. Dabarim. And this means words. It should actually be Hadabarim, which is the words. So let's start from the beginning. So in the beginning, names. And he called in the wilderness the words. And what's the last book we gonna look at? Joshua, Yahusha. So look at that. In the beginning, names. And he called in the wilderness the words Yahusha. Come on, man. Y'all cannot tell me that the Most High is not the highest. I mean, everything about the Bible, bro, is fascinating to me. Everything, especially when you look at it through the Abari, Hebrew lens, you know, without all this English crap. You feel what I'm saying? And listen, I speak English. You probably like, yeah, sure, don't be a hypocrite. I'm just saying, I know I speak English, bro, but this is why I know that, you know what I'm saying, you know, being able to understand these things and see them for what they are is just Yahuwah, man. It is just the Most High. It is just the highest. But all of these things are so profound when you really look at them. Even the name of Yahusha, Yahuwah, behold the nail, behold the hand, like, bro, oh my gosh. It's just mind-blowing. You know what I'm saying? So all esteem to the highest, bro. But I just wanted to show y'all that because I thought that was so fire. You feel me? It's messages, man. It's messages in the tongue. There's messages in the language itself. You feel me? And you know, that's why, you know, I put forth the effort to learn it. So all praises to the highest. All right. So let me just show y'all this last thing and then we're gonna close this out. All right. So let's connect this all to Yahusha, the name of Jacob's 12 sons, and let's connect this to Yahusha Hamashiach. We're gonna bring it home with that. Okay. So it says, now that we understand the names of all Jacob's children, specifically his 12 sons, let's put them all together because they point us to Yahusha. All right, so let's look at this. 1. Prophetic overview of the 12 tribes and Yahusha. Each tribe name tells a prophetic story about Yahusha's mission when read together. 1. Yahuwah saw. All right, that would be Ra'ah Uban. Okay, remember the root word is Ra'ah, which is saw. So Yahuwah saw that we were lost and sent his son, Yahusha, right? He heard Shamaun. The root word is Shama, which means hear or listen. So he heard our cries and brought us back to him. Louis means joined or attached. He attached and joined us to himself as his people. Okay? 4. We now, Yada, praise Yahuwah for our redemption. Yahudah. Yada Yahuwah. Let's keep going. 5. He is the judge, Hadan, who defeated wickedness and transgression, sin. All right. 6. He wrestled on our behalf. Naphtali, wrestle or struggle. So the Most High struggled on our behalf. He fought for us. He chastised us, right? To wrestle us back to him. We had to go through trials and tribulations, experience the wrath of the Most High, the curse to Deuteronomy 28 to bring us back to him. We were stiff-necked, disobedient, didn't listen, hard-headed, right? But he loved us. He wouldn't let us go. So he struggled with us to bring us back to him, just like Yaakov or Jacob wrestled with Yahuwah. Okay, remember that? Remember the man that was wrestling with him? And Jacob even said himself, I have wrestled with the Most High face to face. And he called the land that he wrestled with Yahuwah, Fana'al. Fana means face. All, Aluah, Fanaol. Okay? So let's keep going. 7, he brings what? Good tidings. Good news, good fortune, however you want to say it. Good tidings, you know what I'm saying? Into victory, which is where you get the word God or Gad. Okay? 8, he brings happiness to the redeemed, Ashar. All right? 9, he is our reward and inheritance. Yash Shakar, reward. 10, he dwells with us. Zabalun, dwelling. 11, he increases his kingdom. I go to prepare a place for you. Yahusaf, increase. And 12, Yahusha is the son at Yahuwah's right hand. Ban Yamin. All of these names of these boys point back to Yahuwah, his plan to redeem Yasharal back to him by the blood of Yahusha. Hallelujah. Praise the Most High, man. Absolutely profound. So that's it, man. Very, very great lesson. You know what I'm saying? All praise to the highest Yahuwah. You feel me? Yada, Yahuwah, yeah.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget you can support this channel by Cash App, $Malkaya Music. Also be sure to check out the Patreon for uncensored documentaries, films, deep dives, and much more content that you won't find here on YouTube. Check out the merch store for the latest trip. And let me not forget to say, if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that like button and tap in with us. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah, the highest. Shalom.